Have you ever had one of those days where the hair and the makeup is just working and you thought, hey, let's film something? Well, maybe not. Okay. But that's how I'm feeling today. It's been a good day as far as the face and the hair goes, and it's been a long day at work, so I thought I would jump on and share some new product launches that have shown up in Sephora that other content creators and folks have been drooling over, and give you my 57-year-old perspective on what my thoughts are and whether or not they will work for our mature skin. So grab your beverage of choice, grab your readers, and heck, maybe grab a mirror, and let's dive into this together. Hey queens, welcome back to my channel, Beauty with AS, your spot for beauty made simple. My name is Amy. I'm a beauty educator, makeup artist, and I still hold a corporate job by day in the tech space. And this is your home for women over 50 who love to hear the truth about beauty products and tools that are out there on the market and that are being marketed to us as pro-aging, because around here we embrace pro-aging. We do not talk about anti-aging. And today I'm diving into a mini, maybe not so mini, Sephora splurge. It got a little out of hand, but you know how I am. I love to test products and see what works and what doesn't work. And if you've ever been lured in with the marketing promises of new formulas, oh, and it's going to work great on all skin, this is your sign that you are not alone. I've got products from Hung Vanngo, Makeup by Mario, and Natasha Denona. Basically a who's who of modern glam. So let's see if they live up to the hype for mature skin. Okay, so let's talk about the man, the makeup artist, the genius who makes Selena Gomez's skin look like velvet, Hung Vanngo. He has been newly released into Sephora, and I picked up 3 of his new eyeshadow palettes because I just couldn't help myself. I picked up 2 of the bronzers, and I also picked up 3 of his eyeliner pencils because, quite frankly, I was influenced, and I blame Nikki LaRose because she influenced me. But anyway, she's another content creator, professional makeup artist, and I follow her content quite avidly because she's always got great tips, and I trust her product recommendations. So the first palette, I've already dug into it because I couldn't help myself. It is the new neutral. He's got 2 neutral palettes, but this one I believe is on the cooler side. So with my skin tone, that just works better. So it is a 2, 4, 6, 8 pan palette. And let me just not blind y'all with this mirror. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 shimmers, 4 mattes, and I just, it's not like I needed another neutral palette. I just couldn't resist. I just love neutrals, but I also love blending it with color. So the other palette that everybody's been raving about is the Passionate Purple. And if you have blue eyes, if you have green eyes, purple is really gonna make them pop. Even if you have brown eyes, it just depends on the shade of purple. I have not dug into this one yet, but look at these shades. They are freaking divine. I cannot wait to use this. And then the third palette I was influenced to buy, and it was just my own influence. I have actually been eyeing a different brand palette, Dose of Color, that has this kind of color story, and I haven't been able to pick it up yet. So when I saw this from Hung Vanngo, I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick up this one because it just speaks to me. It's the Rebellious Red and Pink, and they're totally wearable colors, but it's just giving these pretty pink berry type vibes that I think will look fantastic. I really want to try this on a client with brown eyes because I really think this is going to be amazing on somebody with brown eyes. And then his 2 bronzer palettes, I will tell you, I bought 2 shades because one, now that the weather's getting cooler, we're already in October, can you believe it's almost freaking November? I will use the lighter shade this time of year, and then I'll use the darker shade as we get closer to the warmer months because, here in Texas, we get very few cool weather months. So this one is Positivity. So this one is the lighter shade, which is perfect for those of us with a light skin tone. I'm going to see if I can swatch this to where you guys can see it. You might not be able to see it, but we'll try anyway. So I'm going to swatch that one. And then the darker shade is called Straightforward. This is a blurring bronzer. I almost couldn't spit that out. And let's see. So, yeah, so this one's just a wee bit darker. So let's see if you can see that. So you can see we've got the lighter and the darker. And I will tell you that these feel like silk. Just on my fingertips, they feel like silk. So I'm anxious to see how they wear and how they feel during the application process. The other thing I'm always looking for is Longwear Gel Eyeliners, because I have watery eyes, and that can come with maturity, could come with eye issues like dry eye or thyroid, whatever, allergies. And normally my eyes water like crazy, so I'm always looking for a good pencil. And what's important to me is that it glides on easy and that it stays put. So I bought 3 shades. I've got I think this one's called Taupe. This is a taupe shade. The color name is Keep It Effortless. So with mature skin, lighter color eyes, you know, it's always helpful to have a lighter shade when it comes to browns. This is great for like going on the inner waterline. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like. I expected it to be a little bit lighter as far as the shade goes, but it's a real pretty brown. And then this one is called One Eye at a Time. And this one's kind of like a teal shade. So let's swatch that right here. And I'll just show you all 3 when I'm done swatching. And then this one, obviously gotta have a purple, is called Up to You. So let's swatch all 3 of these, and they glide on really nicely. And from what I've seen thus far from other reviews and content creators that have tried these, they say that they stay. So we're gonna do a wear test probably sometime this week, but these are the 3 shades. Hopefully you guys can see those okay. So that was it from Hung Vanngo. I was tempted to buy some lip liners, but I'm like, let me wait. And let's see how these go first, and then we'll just go from there. Now let's talk about Natasha Denona. She is the queen of making your skin look absolutely glamorous, fabulous. This is her new foundation, and I've heard a lot about the foundation. I've heard it's amazing. I've heard that it's maybe not for oilier type skin, but if you're dry or dehydrated, that it's amazing. It's the new High Glam foundation. I purchased and Neutral 2, and first of all, the packaging feels just amazing. It's a glass bottle, and I just love the shape of it. I have heard that this takes a hot minute to set. From what I was watching, some of the creators were saying that it took at least like 30 minutes or whatever for it to set, but I'm actually going to do a short for you guys, because knowing that when I went to go use this, I used another product to help set it, and I had it set within a few minutes, and it lasted all day. The coverage feels very forgiving and amazing. It's a serum-like foundation. I'm just going to put a little dot on the back of my hand so you guys can, or my arm. So basically, look how light. Can you guys see how light that coverage is? I mean, it just feels so freaking silky. And it just blends in. This is just with my fingers, right? It just blends in so nicely. And obviously, my arm is not the place where I would color swatch. But I just wanted you guys to get an idea of what it looks like on the skin. So you see how I've kind of got this real pretty subtle glow to my arm. That's what it looks like on your face. You will want to make sure, like I said, you set it properly, and I'll give y'all some tips on how to do that. And then of course, while I was on her website, I had to pick up a couple of lip pencils. So I got 2 of the I Need a Nude lip pencils. She calls them lip crayons, and let's see, what shade are these? They are 2 different shades. But it doesn't say on here. Why am I having so many issues with shades today? Because you can never have too many nude pencils. Anyway, let's go ahead, and I'm going to swatch, and I'll put links to all the products and the shade names that I'm swatching, because obviously if I can't get my words out right now, I'll be able to look them up and get them to you after the fact, because that's always the way it works. Oh, love this one. Love, love, love. Why can't I find the name? This one just says AO59. It doesn't actually have, I don't see the name on the actual pencil. Anyway, I'm not going to waste your all's time with that, but these are the two lip liner shades. I'm really digging this darker one. I could see this where you would line and then maybe fill in your lip a little bit too and just smudge it out a little bit and then put some gloss on and you should be good all day. And then of course we have Mr. Mario, Makeup by Mario. I just absolutely love his products. I picked up his Surreal Skin Foundation and this is the shade 2N. I picked up, again, because I was influenced, his liquid matte eyeshadows. I absolutely love the creamy liquidy type eyeshadows, especially to lay down as a base. They just work really well for eye skin that tends to be pretty movable or have lots of wrinkles and texture. I also picked up his soft plumping blush veil, and this one is in the shade Strawberry Sunset. I saw it online and I was like, oh my God, what a pretty color. Gotta try it. And then of course, his new eyeshadow palette, which is the Etheral Eyes Nature. Now I wasn't gonna pick this up, but the more I looked at it and looked at the shimmers, what really put me over the edge was this shimmer here, this sort of green, which is, what is this one? It's EEN7. So this is the look I'm actually wearing today. I did the bisque as my eyeshadow base. Goes on super creamy, and then typically what I'll do is I'll just tap it out, blend it out, and then set it with a wee bit of powder before I go in with a powder eyeshadow. So I did that, and then I did this shade here, which is number 8. I did that as my transition shade, and then I kind of mixed these two shades right here, which is numbers 9 and 12. So I first laid down this, but then I went into the very outer corner with this darker shade here, and then I took a flat eyeshadow brush and I wet it with just a little bit of setting spray. I used my MAC Fix-It Plus setting spray on the brush, and I just literally just tapped into this green shimmer shade and put that all over my lid. And let's see if we can get in a wee bit closer so you guys can see. So hopefully you can still see. This makeup has been on since 6 o'clock this morning. So obviously it's not looking as perfect as it did this morning, but hopefully you can still see that shimmer. Now this blush, well, actually before I get to the blush, let's talk about the foundation. This is more of like a satin finish. It's not real matte, so my skin is dehydrated, dry leaning, and I did not find this to feel heavy. It just made my skin, it just like blurred everything out. I absolutely loved it. I'm going to swatch it on this hand since we already did the other one. And it's pretty close to the same shade as the Natasha. This, to me, the consistency feels pretty similar, but you'll see as I'm blending it in that the finish is just a little bit different. So what I would do, depending on the day, see how this one doesn't have that glow like the Natasha does. It's got more of that satiny matte finish. So if you're using this foundation, what I would do is I would probably use some sort of either mix in a little bit of the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin primer in this, or any sort of little bit of a glowy primer, or you could even put the glowy primer right on your face if you want to give it just a little bit of glow. Whereas with the Natasha, I would do just the opposite. I would use maybe a mattifying primer, and you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but this actually worked, and I'm going to tell you why. I worked a photo shoot this weekend. For 2 days, I worked a photo shoot. It was an all day long thing. And one of the things that I did to make sure that the makeup looked, basically I wanted the finish to look as flawless as possible, and thinking about the fact that they're going to be under hot lights and all that other stuff. So once the skin prep had settled, I sprayed the model's face, and I had a lot of models. And of course they all had young, beautiful skin. So, you know, when their skin compared to our skin, but I had sprayed their face with a little bit of a hydrating setting spray, and then as soon as that dried down, I put just the lightest veil of powder before I went in with the foundation. And I feel like that's something that you could do with the Natasha Denona. You just gotta make sure that the powder is super, super lightweight, finely milled. You don't want a ton of powder. And then the other thing is you could powder after the fact as well. The other product that I found that works really well for this to set, and this, I don't know how I stumbled onto it, but this is from Catrice, and it's called the Magic Shine Gel to Powder. It's clear. It looks like nothing, but quite frankly, I just took a powder puff and I swirled it in here and then just tapped it over the Natasha Denona foundation. It set like that, and I was good for the rest of the day. So, little trick, and I'll demonstrate that in another video. But the last, actually not the last item, this blush is absolute perfection. I love the creaminess of it. I love the color of it. It's like a peachy pinky color. I don't know if you guys can see that, but let's just, and the thing is you can sheer it out. It's got nice pigment without being overly obnoxious, and it dries down so quickly. You don't have to sit there and wait for this to set. Now you could go over this with a powder blush just to set it, or to give it a little more oomph after you've put on the rest of your makeup, just to give it a little bit more pizzazz and help it to stay all day. But this color and this blush, this is the first time I've tried this blush. Now, they say it's got a little bit of a cooling sensation because that's the plumping. I didn't feel that. But to me, I wasn't buying it for the plumping. I was buying it for the color. And then, of course, I had to get another lip liner from him because I have worn my lip liners down to little nubs. And this one, I did not go with one of his nude shades. This one's called Johnny. And that's the brush end. That's not the color end. But I really like this. It does look like it's a super nude shade, but it's actually pretty pinky. It's like a, I don't really want to say mauve. It's more of like a rose color. But really like this pencil, and I always love the fact that he's got the brush at the other end so you can blend it out. And now that I look like I'm doing something tribal here with all these shades, I'm going to have to go wash all this off. So something I want to show you, these are the eyeliners from Hung Vanngo, right? I am rubbing, that's not coming off. So to me, that's a winner. So let's be perfectly honest. Did I need all this makeup? Absolutely not. But do I enjoy product testing and researching ingredients and doing comparisons and sharing what I learned with you guys? Absolutely. So I can say the Natasha Denona foundation, definitely a keeper. I feel like it's worth every penny. I feel like the Makeup by Mario foundation is also worth every penny. Love these shadows. They do not budge. They are creamy. They are blendable. Definitely love those. Again, can't go and say enough good things about this blush. I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. This was more of a nice to have. Love the shades in it. Did I need to have it? No. I probably could have found a shimmer shade in this tone, maybe with another brand, but hey, I will say something interesting about this palette. When I bought the Etheral Eyes Moonlight palette, I was a little disappointed because I found it to be like I had a lot of fallout and it felt way more powdery than his original Master Mattes palette. This one doesn't feel that way. So I feel like maybe something with that Moonlight palette was a little off, but this one feels like it's back to that original formula of his original Master Mattes palette. Did I need these lip liners? No, these are more of a nice to have. These I will definitely use because they don't budge. And of course, I am gonna have to do a look for you guys with this Rebellious red and pink. I gotta find a client that's gonna be willing to sit in my chair and let me play with her face just for fun. And definitely want to do one with the Passionate Purple. And like I said, bronzers, super silky, love the way they feel, and the shades are just perfect. All right, queens, so that wraps up our little impromptu after work beauty session. My face still feels good after wearing this foundation all day. Obviously, it doesn't look, like I said, it doesn't look as good as it did this morning just because it's been on for, what, 12 plus hours? But I'm okay with that because I'm gonna go wash my face and call it a day. So while it feels lighter, but my curiosity is temporarily satisfied. If you enjoyed this deep dive into these pro level products for real women like us, hit that like and subscribe because that will tell YouTube that I'm doing something right and y'all like this pro aging smart beauty content. And remember, my queens, we are not chasing youth. We're at that age where we're feeling confident, radiant, and completely comfortable in our skin, no filter required.